Sonic, are you okay today? I guess I just somewhat chill out or just calm down for a little bit, but I still can't excuse the fact that they come off something like this, but let's just get this over with. So, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm Mighty the Armadillo here. We are back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. And the reason why I was able to dive right into the actual level itself like this, just because, well, I just want to get this over and done with. So, yeah, let's get into episode 4, A Third Thief Brings Grief. So, in some cases though, yeah, last time we have pretty much completed episode 3, and despite the fact that we spent it so many minutes on that particular godforsaken chapter all by itself, and yeah, as you probably already know, that today we're going to be hit on to chapter 4 next. And one thing I should probably point out right away before I continue on with this. Suffice to say, I don't think there's going to be the 100% completion playthrough. I'm going to straight off this to you right off the bat, because, well, it's just about the fact that there was no way I can able to actually do all kinds of stuff like that. Like, I know for a fact that we have done 100% completion playthroughs for the sake of not only Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, but also Virtual Boy Wario Land 2, 3, 4, and maybe eventually we'll do Shake It until next year. So as a result though, this is the only, oh, and same applies to Wario World as well, that those are the only games I felt a little bit comfortable with when it comes to 100% completions. But for this game though, not as much, just because, well, it's just, whatever. We'll just get this thing started, shall we? So, as you can tell, we ended up in the ice caverns of any sorts, which is, well, something I suppose. So as a result though, there might be some ice physics here and there, and on top of all that stuff though, it's just the fact that we have to go through a serious amount of rooms by able to actually simply navigating through the ice caverns basically. So yeah, I can appreciate about the fact that we're going with a... Did that Donkey Kong knockoff just somehow farts? I don't know about you, Mighty, but it does kind of remind me of Donkey Kong, except, well, that monkey gorilla just somehow didn't get the DK tie, so... Oh well, I honestly have no idea why I'm questioning that, but at the very least we're able to get ourselves the, this little, purple chest, so that way we can able to open up the map of any sorts, while trying to simply go for this repeated minigames over and over and over again. So, seriously, it's getting a little bit more of a repetition these days now. Although, one thing I should probably also mention is the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that, once again, we do apologize with the actual uploading schedules is a bit, tight at the moment, especially because, well, let me tell you straight off with you right off the bat, that, I'm just seriously not in the mood in this game again, so, well, to be fair though, Sonic, is the fact that I believe we've almost at the halfway point of the game already, so, thank the heavens, but still, it's just very unacceptable sometimes. But anyway, let's just go ahead and sort out the exact same items all over again, except now that every nowadays is the fact that certain items will actually drop a bit faster, as opposed to like the slowest movement, and also about the fact that the actual time bomb is actually going to get a little bit more restricted than in forms of how it does it on the past few levels, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, anyway, today's date is of course the 9th of November today, in this case in 2022 today. Oh yeah, I should probably also mention about this as well, I guess. The only thing I've honestly forgot about, now is the fact that, well, do you remember about the fact that I briefly mentioned about the forms of the word, Sonic Forces, ever since on Monday? Oh yeah, that you mentioned about that, because obviously that game has been out for 5 years now. Jesus Louise, no wonder why that time flies still. And on top of all that stuff though, despite a lot of people seem to have a lot of mixed reactions for the sake of the forms of looking back on Sonic Forces, like some of the Sonic fans seems to think that this game is okay, but most of them, they really despise that game that much, clearly because of the forms of the majority of the levels are significantly short, and on top of all that stuff though, with all its clunky controls and heavy physics for classic Sonic, and that's all there is to say. And also the music itself is pretty forgettable for the sake of the level themes, or specifically level music and stuff like that. Well, aside from a couple of exceptions here and there. So anyway, so here we go. Here we have ourselves our next transformation in terms of disguise gems that we actually encountered. This what appears to be the Dragon Wario, and basically what this does, you have to draw the triangle shape as in sideways within just a triangle shape on its back, and basically that allows you to able to breathe fire. However, though, it doesn't go all the way through though, because there were a few times though about the fact that, as you can tell, that Dragon Wario cannot jump nearly as high as the forms of how it does on other disguised forms. And well, it's a nice little disguise transformation you can able to come across into, and it actually really helps you for the sake of like not only just trying to get rid of certain ice structures or something like that, but also it decides able to help you to able to get rid of those fire blocks. So that's short stuffing, I suppose, especially because, well, I've got nothing else to add. So, oh, seriously? Okay, whatever. Whatever, but at the very least though is the fact that, well, at least it's pretty easy, all things considered. Oh, and by the way, you're able to actually water this little stalk right there, which actually functions kind of like the same thing as the beanstalk. Yeah, I will get to you in a second, good style, so don't hesitate me by doing all sorts of shenanigans or something. So yeah, anyway, let's talk about the forms of another discussions for this point today, and that is the fact that, well, we basically now onto the halfway point in, well, Autumn Tour in Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that, well, don't get me wrong, we did have some good rewards this time around, thanks to the forms of, I suppose I should probably also mention about this as well, I guess. Thank God, I've now finally got myself my Tanuki Rosalina driver, and because of that though, thanks to the forms of that very rare occurrence when I somehow managed able to get into like, I won't classify for saying first or second place in the previous tour or something. Well, I think I was in third actually, because as a result, at the very least I did somehow manage able to increase my tier number, despite the fact that I still really despise the tier system, just because about the fact the matter is though, it's all depending on luck, and it's all depending on players' performance, I suppose. Because unfortunately though, we didn't get ourselves our new color scheme for Yoshi, which appears to be the orange color. And on top of all that stuff though, I don't think we actually got ourselves Turbo Yoshi Kart or anything else like that, so... And I just realized we're almost going to be dying, just because this is where the game starts to get a lot more ridiculously difficult than the forms of how it does on the previous levels in my opinion, just because, again, due to the forms of some very awkward controls, and on top of all that stuff though, there's a lot of hazards that will attempt to show up every nowadays, so... But anyway, enough about that. I suppose I should probably also mention about this as well, I guess, is the fact that, apparently though, today marks the, long-awaited, presentation has finally managed to make its return. Well, I could assure you it's been absent ever since in, August this year. Well, mind you, I'll explain more now in a second. Speaking of Mario Kart Tour, actually, is the fact that what I've, looked up on something recently is the fact that, in terms of, anything else I would like to, discuss upon, that's, basically that, you remember when the forms have been yesterday, that, not only did, we actually did done the unboxing video of Sonic Frontiers, both on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, alongside with the Switch versions. If you want to check this out, then you can able to look it up in our channel, and you can able to do just that, and help yourselves to able to just watch the entire video if you're curious. But also about the fact that there's also another new trailer for the sake of the forms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Seriously, they've gone so obsessed with the forms that new trailers keep popping up for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm guessing because, well, at this point in time, we've only got about, how many days we got left? You mean like 9 days left now before that game comes out? Oh yeah, exactly. Despite the fact that we wasn't exactly, trying to get it per se, because obviously we're gonna have to save up for some stuff for a while until, you know, 2023 is approaching. So, specifically when it comes to Kirby fanatic and the Legend of Zelda fanatic such as ourselves. In addition to, well, give Pikmin and now, now giving Pikmin a second chance. So as a result though, everything else will be come to expect. And one thing I actually do appreciate about this Mighty is the fact that it's a good thing that we actually got, you know, not only Pikmin 1 and 2, both on the Wii, because obviously just to match up in the exact same system, rather than just in the odd, system choices as far as I'm aware. But, also that, we, go for the Switch version of Pikmin 3, because of not only that if we somehow still manage to keep the Wii U version and do not even get, the Switch version entirely, that means it'll be specifically Wii U, and Switch, or something like that. I honestly have no idea why I've actually asked about this, but either way though, I just have no idea why I explained about this. Especially because it's been quite a few days since we actually going back to this godforsaken game, at least in my opinion, because it's just maddening, I'm telling you. It's just maddening. Anywho, what are you trying to say about the forms of other stuff you want to mention, Sonic? Oh yeah, with the long-awaited presentation has been out for quite some time now. That's what appears to be the long-awaited ND World. Now, despite the fact that I think it was back in sometime in spring or something, that basically is the fact that, relatively speaking, I think they lasted in spring if I recall correctly. Mind you, it's been quite a long time since we actually last heard about the forms of the ND World Nintendo Direct showcase. Because as far as I'm aware, I think this will be the last time we were able to actually see ND World presentation during a 2022 year. Well, despite the fact that it might not contain that much, but either way though, this is something, it's nice to be able to actually see the ND World presentations returning after several months ago, because it's now been taken over by several Pokemon presentations and stuff like that sometimes. Well, don't get me wrong, I don't mind Pokemon, but it's just that it's not my cup of tea when it comes to mainstream Pokemon titles. So, yeah, the last time that ND World did manage to done a presentation was back in May this year. So, yeah, that's sure it's something. Yeah, especially noticeable, it's been like, God knows, like 6 months or so? Yeah, I could assure you to you for this point, Mighty, it's roughly about 6 months. So, yeah, almost like a half a year or something like that. So, but I'm sure it's something. But we'll discuss more details about the forms of the game selections they did revealed for ND World for the most recent presentation, and during at some point during this Friday, around the same time as in not only Remembrance Day, like 11/11 and 11 o'clock or something, but also is that, unfortunately though, we're gonna have to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Paper Mario Sticker Star for the 3DS, so, oh boy. I'm not exactly sure if I was gonna look back on that game though, because, well, I haven't touched that game since, because obviously I'm more referring to the RPG style of Paper Mario games, as well as some charming characters here and there. Like, why couldn't they just able to actually have the Thousand Year Door to remake on the Switch? I mean, that way it'll make things a lot more enjoyable to go through, especially now we've actually got both Paper Mario The Origami King, which is the actual standalone Switch release, but also Paper Mario the original on the NSO expansion kit, or expansion pack, whatever. And that'll make it come true if that will happen, but time will tell until next year in 2023, because I don't think we actually got, we haven't got anything related to Mario for the sake of 2023 until at some point next year. Well, besides the movie though, but that's besides the point, so. Anyway, another thing I want to point things out, speaking of Sonic Frontiers, is that the reviews have been, well, shown up recently, and what our result is, we have some good and bad news. Well, obviously the good news is the fact that whenever we did manage to play the game on our own time, I really enjoyed it so far, Despite it might take a bit of time to get used to with all that momentum, or physics, or even a combat system for this matter, but again, I'm not gonna bring up any spoiler territory because, well, it's a newly released game, so, or a brand new release game, I meant to say. But here comes the bad news, is that, well, I can assure to you some of these reviews are actually mixed reception. Well, at least it's better than the forms of how it does it in Sonic Forces, at least as far as what I can tell. But some of them are okay. Like, for instance, IGN gives the game 7 out of 10, which I found was alright. Well, certainly way up there than the forms of how it does it on the Sonic Lost Worlds review, or even Sonic Unleashed review, that's for sure, back in, God knows, very long time ago. For GameSpot gives the game also a 7 out of 10, and as far as I'm aware, Game Info just gives the game 7.75 out of 10. Pretty good scoring right there. We'll have to admit that right away. GameSpeed gives the game 4 stars out of 5, so that's pretty good. And also Easy Allies is Easy Allies, I meant to say, gives the game 7 out of 10, a good score. And Metro gives it an 8 out of 10, pretty good choice. And Game Explain for some reason just gives the game a mixed bag, which I might be alright with this. And as far as I'm aware, Games Radar just gives it a 2 stars out of 5. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I just literally don't get it at this point. Well, at some consumption though, is the fact that I'm guessing it's trying to like, well, it's basically, it's kind of like, well, not quite the same level as Breath of the Wild, but it's just the fact that it might be something to do with the combat, or perhaps even maybe, just maybe, something to do with the actual cyberspace levels themselves. That's, obviously, that's, well, I can assure you about the fact that as far as I'm guessing, so. Anyways though, speaking of Mario Kart Tour though, they did manage able to fix up quite a few issues that we found out, ever since in, oh, son of a, I hate that minigame sometimes, especially it gets a bit tad difficult later on, especially they now start to add in those little electrical, little lines that you have to able to, like, not to let Wario touch them, because otherwise, one shot and you'll be dead. Although bombs will show up and during that, the treasure chests in mind, so. But that's okay, because we've got ourselves the easy, minigame activity here, so, I guess it's that. So, anyway, yeah, let's check out the forms of, the Mario Kart Tour update that just recently came up as a patch. Like, for instance, we're now on, I would say, version 3.1.0. Like, basically, they did manage to fix quite a number of things. First of all, made it so that the number of players remaining and the number of balloons popped will be displayed during battles. So, I guess it's that, I suppose. And a countdown will display before the time runs out on the battle mode, so that might be something that's entirely now fixed, especially noticeable because I cannot tell how many seconds we've got left until we get to the, well, almost, well, the time runs out syndrome or something like that. I have no idea. And also they've shown us the number of players remaining will not display, will display during no team matches or something like that. And also the number of balloons popped will display on the bottom left of the screen. And as far as I'm aware, adjustments to the Spotlight shop, we adjust the Spotlight shop so that you can use quick tickets up to 3 times in a day. So, because I did somehow manage able to technically use my quick ticket, and for some reason it always stops at just only 1 ticket per day. So, I'm sure you're mildly able to get the gist of it, I guess, but as a result, there's not much else you can honestly say about this. Oh, you know, with those flamingos you're gonna be keep on collecting? Well, mind you, you've got 3 of them so far. Yeah, I'm missing 1 of them, mighty, but at the very least, I'm actually on the halfway point of this though, so I'm sure that might be something, I guess. So, anywho, another thing I just want to point things out with adjustments to Coin Rush, we change it so that you can use Coin Rush tickets in Coin Rush for 6, coins 6 times, and oh, this is cool. Coins 10 times as well. So at the very least, no need to rely on rubies or something like that. Well, I highly doubt it might be still used as rubies or something like that. So yeah, that's actually a massive improvement, at least in my experience anyway. So, and also adjustments to animations played when challenges are completed. We shorten how long the animation to obtain a badge is when you complete a challenge, and address unknown issues, like there may be times when the score you receive after a race is over is not higher than your lifetime best, but the new record message will still displayed, and the times displayed for tours, etc. on the news list screen in version 3.0.0 are coordinated universally times, and in battles there are consequences or circumstances, I think is what it's at, in which you may float higher than expected when using the bubble and the super leaf special skills, and the meter at the top of the cup selection screen that indicates the rate of team token acquisition does not change during team rallies. So I guess that's that, I guess. Oh no. I get the horrible feeling that the next tour after this, though, it might be the next rally tour, so I'm not looking forward to that. But it knows what it is, I guess. And also, the you've completed premium challenges text bubble at the bottom of the cup selection screen will not disappear even after moving to the challenges screen, because that was always there whenever I do somehow manage able to navigate through menus and all that stuff, especially with that cup selection screen and all that stuff, which has always kind of felt a bit irritating to me though. Oh, and also, ouch is not displayed in battles when you take damage from mushrooms, dash rings, triple mushrooms, or feathers by getting rammed. Also, the hard and hard plus items cannot prevent ramming damage from the above items in battles. So, and finally, there are circumstances in which the icon of a different driver's face is displayed when you deal damage to an opponent in battles by ramming into them with mushrooms, dash rings, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, triple mushrooms and feathers. So, at the very least though, there does have some bit of patchiness to go through. So yeah, that's pretty swell, I have to say. Well, despite the fact that they're still missing one technical thing. That is, of course, improvement controls, or even in some cases, though, just have a Joy-Con support, for God's sakes. I mean, it just took way too long enough, especially because I just want to make myself comfortable with the game or something like that, but I have no idea when they're gonna do that, so oh well. But at the very least, though, we can able to just, well, cope with it, I'm afraid, I guess. So of course we're going back to this again, so it's nothing too special about this, I suppose. Oh yeah, I should probably also mention about this something mighty, is the fact that in terms of our Let's Play of Mario Party Superstars, regardless of such, that I don't suppose that both Pac-Man and Pinkie Pie have both already mentioned about that, well I suppose I'll say this anyway. I think our Let's Play of Mario Party Superstars is actually going pretty well, especially noticeable with our views count in mind, especially because, well, I can totally see why a lot of people seem to get hyped about Mario Party Superstars more than this does, because I can surely say to you for something right off the gate though, that I don't think that the entire Let's Play of this game is not going to receive well for views counts or anything. I will have to admit to that right away, because, wow, I can totally see why. Prefer playing other Wario platformer games, including Wario World and all that stuff. So, but that's just me. Yeah, I can totally get the idea about for this point there, Sonic. I can totally see the actual, the main point of view, but still. Anyway, so let's grab some more of those coins, I guess. So, nothing spectacular or anything else like that, but still, it just kind of feels a bit convoluted, I guess. I have no idea. Anyway, so let's go in here and obtain the green chest, and this potion is familiar because we might able to get ourselves our next heart piece, so that's something that's usually going for. So, oh yeah, I should probably also mention about this actually, is that once you're done with certain most important treasures with all that disguise gems or the heart units of health, basically though, that certain treasures, if you manage able to go back to the previous levels, basically those chests will be replaced by the forms of somewhat of a red chest or purple chest. I'm sure that purple chests are still existent for its key item requirements, but as far as I'm aware, with the green chest will no longer going to be shown up if you somehow managed able to find certain chests in mind, but I think that's mainly besides the point. So let's just get rid of this little enemy right here. Ever since in chapter 3 or episode 3, whatever you want to be more precise. So, and there's another treasure in here. Hi. Alright, so we're just gonna have to like drag this little yellow dot to the goal, much like before. And hopefully that should do it. Nice. Despite almost gonna get myself screwed over sometimes with all that. You know what I mean, with all that trial and error in mind, but that may be besides the point, so. Anywho, I should probably also mention about this actually, that one thing that me and Mighty the Armadillo has completely forgot to mention about this ever since in a couple of days ago or something like that, that apparently though, that Channel 4 in the UK has recently turned 40 years old recently, so yeah, I can't believe it's been about 40 years since when Channel 4 was actually first broadcast into the UK TV, since in 1982, around the same year as... honestly, I've got no words. Especially noticeable because, well, I do know for a fact that I was going to be thinking about something else, but apparently I somehow lost track about the forms of when that particular channel first came out, around the same time kind of syndrome or something, so... But anywho, so yeah, I guess that's that, I suppose, for its nice little celebration debut when it comes to based off from Channel 4, the UK channel and stuff like that. Oh, and another thing too, that's basically that out of nowhere that we're actually going to be receiving the Ultimate Edition of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. So in this case, yes, I think that particular edition of the game is going to be releasing in June at some point in this Friday, around the same time as the 10th anniversary of the release of Paper Mario Sticker Star for the 3DS. And yeah, because basically it will contain 5 DLC characters, of course being Garfield, Shredder, and Jin, Hug, and Rocco. Which I suppose that Rocco might be the last DLC character or something. Well, then again, I haven't exactly followed the entire game as much as Super Smash Bros., at least in my opinion. And also they did reveal, or actually include, voice acting provided by the legendary Nickelodeon voice casts, and also updates on items, quality of life changes, and all the patches all in one particular package. So, and of course it's going to be releasing on not only on Nintendo Switch obviously, but also with PlayStation 5 alongside with Xbox One and Xbox Series X combined into one, and also PlayStation 4 too. So yeah, I guess that's about it basically when it comes to likely mention something like this, especially because, well, I've got nothing more else to add. Oh yeah, have you heard of the heard about the episode in the likes of that was actually a new episode that just recently came out about a couple of days ago called Squid Flarter or Flatu, I think that's what it says anyway. I do apologize for that mispronunciation about the forms of several of episode names these days. But what I do know is the fact that that particular episode, for some reason, just somehow performed so poorly, for what I've heard about it anyway. So because of that though, I just got no words able to think about for this entire topic. Oh, have you heard about the fact that, well, recently, that PlayStation VR 2 has recently received not only the price tag, but I can assure you about the fact the matter is though, they only show us the price tag of that particular unit itself. Oh, how much is that gonna cost then, Sonic? It's probably gonna cost about $549.99, well, let's just say $549.99. Holy macaroni, are you serious? Well, apparently mighty though is the fact that that particular PlayStation VR 2 is gonna get a ton more expensive than the forms of how it does it on the previous counterparts of PlayStation VR. Well, as far as I can tell, because about the fact that with new technology when it comes to mind, and on top of all that stuff though, because it's only gonna be exclusive to PlayStation 5 owners, so... Honestly, Sonic, I'm no interest in getting that particular accessory because, well, like you said before, it's getting outrageous with this price tag in mind. Like, seriously, whoever thought that was a good idea for, like, well, I totally get it because of the forms of the new generation's much goes expensive-wise, or maybe they want money, just like Mr. Krabs or something. Well, I highly doubt it though, Mighty, but either way though, that's saying much, so... Anywho, I think that's as far as I can talk about the forms of today's discussion. Although, then again, until when it gets to the point until this coming Friday, then we'll be able to actually discuss upon something related to, you know, certain announcements based off from the Indie World presentation, so... But anyway, now we've actually completed the Another Green Chest minigame challenge, and as you can tell, we're getting ourselves one of those upgrades for our disguise gems. Like, I think this is the first one out of them all though, so in this case we do have RT Wario upgrade. So in this case though, for instance, if we draw, let's just say for about 2 blocks, as you can tell, we can now able to actually upgrade certain blocks as much as you can. So, I guess that's about it, basically. Oh, and you can also just manage to draw a heart shape, which means if you're having a hard time with the game at the moment, then that will be the great strategy if you're somehow low on health. So, that'll be welcoming, especially noticeable if you're having a hard time with the game itself like I do, then, well, that might be the best bet when it comes to likely, knowing that particular, technique you can able to pull this off, so... I think this might actually be the only level I think I sort of know. Well, apart from the fact that I did manage to able to play this level on my own time on my DSi XL, and it does take me quite a few practice on that level right here, especially because, again, you have to utilize the ice physics for the majority of the time. However, though, if you dare move on while you're on the actual ice slippery physics, or in some cases, though, if you get into that little icy path, basically though, that you able to actually just force the able to get fluked off or anything else like that. So anyways, let's go ahead and save our progress. And yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. Well, apart from the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that we can now able to actually unlock all those doors that we can actually insert every single flamingos and all that stuff. But before we deal with all that stuff though, let me just go ahead and grind some more hearts and screw you, because I swear I did manage to draw the hearts, but then next thing you notice is the fact that my drawing is a piece of garbage. But regardless of such though, I think I should probably just... Okay, that should probably does it. So anyways, let's go and open this last door up, and somehow that Count Cannonoi just somehow showed up again, so... And then by that point, then we'll head on to the next boss. So, because I think the last time we actually fight against those certain bosses, because if you're following through our Chapter 3 level, or in some cases though, you know, with the forms of whenever we do like questions against with some spanks and stuff, well, only one spanks to be more specifically. Oh yeah, because it's a riddle challenge rather than the actual boss fight, although technically it still counts as a boss, but either way though, that's saying much. So anyways though, we get ourselves the next artificial artifact item that we can hopefully try to receive, but it wasn't until whenever we stumbled across this interesting character right here. Well, mind you, I don't know exactly what his name was though. Mighty, do you mind if you look it up? Well, I'll just try to say something else. Sure buddy, sure thing. Oh, and also another thing, I still haven't heard anything from Cap King 74 for quite some time, because I'm presuming to you that he's pretty much busy for the time, so God knows if he decided to come back into YouTube again or anything else like that, but we shall see. We shall definitely see what happens there. Oh, I found his name by the way. His name was Kachiko? It's so weird for these names in this game, especially because, well, for some reason I'm pretty much used to with, or let's just say, Captain Syrup from the likes of the forms of the past Wario Land games, especially noticeable with the forms of, any other Mario-themed characters, like traditional characters and stuff like that, but, yeah, I was gonna be thinking about that, Mighty, especially because, well, still, I just did not know this game all that well compared to, any other certain portions throughout, I guess, but still. So, yeah, not much else to talk about, because as a result, yeah, I think that's as far as I can discuss upon for the forms of today's discussion. Besides, oh yeah, I noticed something right off the gate though, is the fact that, we're actually getting very close to the actual, like, well, let's just say, for instance, in the forms of the first ever episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Oh yeah, what about it? Well, there was actually the episode called The Crystal Empire, both parts 1 and 2. Well, apparently, until tomorrow anyway, specifically, both of those episodes combined, that basically, well, The Crystal Empire parts 1 and 2 combined into one, will eventually become, well, a decade old, until tomorrow. Oh my god, this is basically, it's like the equivalent to Bowser's Inside Story, except, well, nothing interesting inside there, aside from the fact that we have to deal with, the next boss. So in some cases though, yeah, let's just go ahead and, deal with this next boss anyway. So, which apparently though, that this particular, I don't know what you'd call it, because, again, it's been quite some time since I actually last played this, for sure, so... Anyway, so what we're doing with this boss fight right here is the fact that, oh yeah, the boss's name is called, Henechico, Carpachico, I think is what it says anyway. Again, I do apologize for that misspelled correction with that particular boss's name, because I don't know many other bosses' names in this game. I must admit it though right away, so... Anyway, so in order to deal with this boss fight right here, that's basically we have to keep on transforming into RT Wario, and then it's your job to able to, well, as you can see on screen, there were a few times about the fact that you get able to actually just have to able to focusing on not just one thing at a time, but multiple things at a time. Like, for instance, that, oh no, we're almost gonna be dying, aren't we? But hopefully we'll grab this heart just in case we're able to... there's no time to react! I can't wish this thing were able to slow down, rather than just making it itself a bit too fast. Okay, come on. Okay, just one more target, come on, come on. Oh, really? No! Oh, the hitbox sucks! This is what I get. This is... I just don't believe this. You know what? I'm not gonna give up. What is up with the hitboxes in this game? I just don't get it at all. Anyway, so yeah, we have to keep on creating those blocks in order able to deal the damage on those little switch in the middle. And you have to do this for about, I would say for about, about 7 times in order able to actually do this process. Oh, and by the way, if you somehow manage to able to, well, he occasionally decided able to do a bit of a shovelware, kind of like, whenever you do somehow manage to find the real thing and try to shoot it, if you shoot the wrong one, then basically the explosion rate will able to catch you off guard. And, seriously, this is too much. Especially, I hate the fact that the hit detection just somehow screws me up. Especially, I swear, I have created this block, and then next thing you know, it does not count as a hit. Jesus Christ, what is up with this? Well, don't get your hopes up at this point, Sonic, because either way though, that's you're almost basically done with this fight. Oh, come on. Just roll this. Come on! I hate this. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, we only got one more. One more. Doesn't matter if I get hit, because thankfully the invincibility frames help me out, but still. Okay, come on. There we go! Oh, Jesus Louise, this boss fight, well, it's alright in places, but I just think this is way too much for the sake of this boss fight right here, so... okay, at least that's, this level's done now, so... Oh my god. How long do I have to go through all that stuff? Well, I'm afraid to tell you is the fact that we only got about quite a few levels left, I'm afraid. Oh, not only that, Mighty, the worst part about all of this, as you probably already know, I've got my first death on this playthrough. Ugh. Excuse me for a second, Mighty, because I'm just gonna... You... Just take my, just take the controller or something, because I'm just gonna have to take my fair share and stuff, and just... Bear with me. Okay, I've honestly got no words to say, guys, because, I'm afraid Sonic is gonna get ticked off again, because, I can tell you shortly right off the bat, though, because he just thinks that, well, this game can seriously just traumatizing Sonic. But anyway, so it looks like we actually got, 2 artifacts and stuff like that, so I think we've only got 3 of them left, so... Anyways, let's see how we did for this entire stage. I think we spent about quite a lot of minutes on this level, just like level chapter 3, but regardless of such though, I think we did this okay despite Sonic coming across into his first step of the playthrough, so... But don't worry, I will support him if he just starts to get a little bit more of a rage mode or something, unlike Shadow when he always rages on anything for its humanity or anything else like that, but still, I can't deny about the fact that this game does have some flaws, you know. And it's also rather gimmicky as well, so... I guess there's not much else you can say, so yeah, we'll just have a look on the actual gallery pages all over again, but yeah, not much else to add, and I highly doubt that we don't think we can probably do the 100% playthrough of this entire game because, well, yeah, there's not much else to add, so I suppose I should probably mention about something else so I would like to point things out, but I think I should probably save that until possibly on Friday, I'm afraid, so... I don't know if Sonic might able to like this after all, but at the very least though, we almost at the halfway point, so, well, unless there are some special things to add around here, but anyway, I do apologize folks for all that Sonic Rage mode or what that clunky hitbox or anything, but I'm just really sorry about that, but anyway, so I'll meet you guys in the next video, so yeah, we're gonna be here on to chapter 5 next, so I'll see you guys then.